Hey, I'm Andrew Malacy. Welcome to my workshop. Today I'd like to give a tour of my split top Roubo Workbench made out of southern yellow pine, some black walnuts, and the hardware that I put on it, some of the methods that I used, and just an overall tour of my bench. In total, my workbench came in right about $200. In fact, a little bit less than $200. Because I had to really prioritize the price, and I didn't want to sacrifice on functionality or even on the aesthetic aspects. And in total, I had about $250 to spend, and I spent $200 of it with $50 left to get some other things just around the shop. So thanks for being with me. Let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. So I'd like to start with just a general look at my workbench. Right in the middle of the shop there, as you can see, I've been using a Black & Decker Workmate, and it's basically been in the middle of the shop as well, but that just wasn't cutting it. And to be honest with you, you know that you just have to build yourself a really nice workbench at some point or another. As you can see, I've got these laminated legs, got a laminated top, tongue and groove bottom here, shelving area where I house all my planes. The finish on this is just a wipe-on poly that I love. It's the Minwax wipe-on poly. I didn't even use that much. I just went over one coat on everything, and then I went like 3 coats on the top, and then I just smothered this sucker in Johnson's paste wax. If you don't know this stuff, you should. I mean, you have to know this if you're watching the video. Here, what I did is I just pegged it. I mortised it and pegged it, but the whole thing here is mortised in all the way across. It's mortised in, and then it's pegged on the sides and underneath as well. And as you can see, here's the tool well, or the tool rack. I honestly don't even know what you're supposed to call this. And it dies into another walnut piece at the end that sort of binds it all together. My dog holes are just, what I did is I centered my dog holes using a marking gauge. After I had it all put together, I didn't do the dogs first and then put it together. I put the whole bench top together, then I came back and did the dogs. And they're just 3/4 inch dowels that I pop up. They fit into a 3/4 inch hole really snugly. And I just got this Poplar dowel from Walmart. And they're all proud of the bottom so I can feel where they are and push them up. Here's my wagon vise. I wanted to go with the Benchcrafted hardware here, but I just couldn't swing it. I just didn't have it in my budget. Like I said, I had about $250 I could use, and I came in under 200. And that's because I just made some strategic decisions about where I wanted to spend my money. And this wagon vise, it's actually one of the cheap Apple press vices or whatever they call it. I got it on Amazon. It was like $23 and some change. Add tax on top of that, and I have Prime. It came to my door for under $25. And as you can see, it works fine. It's not going to go the full length with one hard spin, like the trick that everybody does. Whatever. But it has no problem at all. As you can see, there is, see that? A little bit of slop. So if you're interested in this, there is slop. If you need there to be super precision, this won't be your thing. This is my solution to if I have a fenced plane like my 45 or moving Philister or whatnot, and I need to plane on the edge. I made this little jig here. It's very much like Shannon Rogers, what he's done, and I just pop it in. It works great, and as you can see, it slightly overhangs the edge here. It gives me every little bit of grip I need, and that way I can pop it out. Because if it were flush, I couldn't get it off that easily. Then, of course, I've got my Ducktail here, which is everybody's showpiece. I love it. It was a real labor of love, to be honest with you. And this piece is just so delicate. But when I fit it and everything went perfectly, I was so excited. I left the lines, it looks cool, whatever, but it actually really sucked everything together really well. I was extremely satisfied with the result of this. There we go. Here's the side where actually I worked the most. It's just the side. As you can see, I have more pretty straight grained wood on the side here, more or less straight grained wood that I've used for other areas, and some knots had to be showing because it's just impossible, like here and here. I chose this wide piece here. I left this as an offcut because I knew I'd be using it for the sliding deadman. And although I know it has the major potential for warping because of the ring pattern here, I've got more or less straight grain on the side. As you can see, it ends in like a rift saw pattern here, but it would continue getting straighter if the board were longer. The board was actually fairly dry when I got it anyways. And then if you can see, I've got a piece right here. If you can see, I've got a piece right here. And I just, like I said, I doweled, like I've done for everything else. I glued it and doweled it. It's been very stable. I've never once, and like I said, it's been 4 months. The top has shifted a little bit, has been acclimating, but this has never given me any trouble. It's never caught. It stays very true. And here's the back view, tongue and groove. It rides on a ledge. What I did to get that ledge is I just glued two of these I glued two of these together side by side, one higher, one lower, because I wanted something really thick. And finally, we're getting around to the leg vise here. I'll go ahead and open it up. It's your typical style. Let me move that out of the way. It's just this is your $40 Lee Valley vise screw here. And I went pinless because I just know how lazy I can get sometimes with the details. Research. And I ended up deciding that I could probably make the Criss-Cross system. I looked into the chain systems. I looked into ones with ramps and wedges and I don't know, ratcheting mechanisms. And the easiest, believe it or not, but also the most elegant, in my opinion, is the Criss-Cross. What I did is I bought a $17.90 some cents, $18 let's call it, piece of 1.5 wide, 1/2 inch thick bar steel. Here, just regular old stuff off Amazon. Came to my house, free shipping, so it's less than 20 bucks for that. And I'm not joking, I used a hacksaw to cut it in half right in the center. I used a file to make it exactly even, and then I rounded the corners, didn't do anything special to them. Then I just drilled some really straight holes. I don't have a drill press, again. I just took my time, a really lot of time, making sure I was drilling true. And then for this I did not use the battery power drill. I used the bit and brace because I feel like I can get a truer, straighter hole with the bit and brace because of how long the whole setup is. Let me close this up. And then you can see there's a little bit of gap there, which I built in so you can crank down more, and now it's perfectly parallel. So when you do your final half turn or so, this sucker holds. I'll do the grip test for you just to show you that a $20 homemade Criss-Cross works. You might have seen the woodpecker do this, and I've seen other people do improvise it with angle iron as well, but there you go. We'll do sideways. Just the leather helps immensely. I don't really need to say that's not going anywhere, which is what everybody says. But as you can see, I have no problem doing what I've got to do. One thing I forgot to mention about my vise placement here, my leg vise placement, is that I saw Shannon Rogers put his leg vise on the right side, and then I believe he also put one on a sliding dead man as well. But he's a lefty apparently, and I'm a lefty too. And let me tell you, I've been working before I made my bench. I was working on this little guy, this $20 Irwin one from Lowe's. It was great. In fact, I built a lot of stuff using this. But it is a pain to plane over your vise. And I saw online a lot of people like, well, I just left mine right-handed even though I'm a lefty because that's what everybody does. And I'm just going to tell you, if you're a lefty and you're thinking, should I put it on the left or the right? Should I deviate from the standard? Do it left-handed. If you have any concern at all about convenience, you should do a left-handed style, which means that you're going to put your vise on the right and you're going to plane towards your vise. You don't want to be planing over it because it'll snag you, get in your way. You're going to have to work around it, and that'll increase the possibility of just errors or dropping stuff or getting hurt in the shop. So the last thing is this end here, and I want to show you two things. First of all, the split in the top. It's a split top Roubo. How do I deal with this? Should I just leave them free? I didn't find a whole lot of people who dealt with this satisfactorily. Could you leave it free? should you cap it off all the way with an end cap and dovetail and all that? And I just thought, you know, it doesn't matter, I'm sure, as long as it's more or less stable. So I got honestly a really janky piece of walnut with a really cool knots pattern, but it's just what I had on hand. And I laid it across there, and it has moved with the bench a little bit. I feel like there's a little dip here, and I'll have to end up probably flattening this all again. No problem. Then I just 4 dowels, like always. I think they look great, kind of like a pool table. And I have no worries about picking this up. I don't fear it's gonna break or anything. Lastly, this thing right here, I don't know if you can see it. I know the lighting's getting a little bad here. You can see this little notch in the end. And that's because what I did is that's the dog hole row. And that's also the row in which my dead man rides, right? My sliding dead man. So rather than having to route out something, I thought the easiest thing would just be to cut this sucker down a little bit shorter and make it the whole length a little, you know, just a little less thick than everything else. I don't care. I was thinking about filling that in, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna own it. I'm gonna love it. And again, the other reason why I like it is because it gives me a lip to hold on to. I can pop this up really easy with the leverage it gives you. So yes, it's not the most symmetric thing, and for me, loving symmetry, yeah, maybe I could have found a more elegant solution, but I didn't fill it in. I love it. Gave me a clear thing for the sliding dead man. And then over here where I did need something to push up against for the wagon vise, I did fill that in with just a piece of yellow pine. Glued it in, didn't care about aesthetics at all. Let me just give you one last look around the bench. The top. Oh, the only thing I didn't do, of course, was I got the removable tool well in the middle there, which is amazing, but at the same time, it's a little dangerous because I found myself accumulating tools in there. And so what I decided to do is I rearranged my shop a little bit to put all the most commonly used hand tools and saws and stuff right behind me. I mean, it seems really obvious, but I hadn't been doing that before. So I only leave on my bench the stuff that I really need to use all the time. I wax my planes habitually when I'm using them, I wax my planes habitually to keep the friction down and whatnot. I love my marking gauges from Amazon as well. Just cheap eye gauging ones, I believe. My adjustable square here. And then my shooting board almost never leaves my bench. I love it. So there you go. That's a $200 split top Roubo workbench set up for a lefty using southern yellow pine with some leftover walnut. And the only things I've actually paid for, like I said, the quick price breakdown, 95 bucks plus some change for 12 2x10s, 8 feet long at Home Depot. Then I bought this vice screw or vice press screw or whatever they call it on Amazon for 25 bucks through Prime. I got this, I paid $40 for that vice screw on Lee Valley, and they made me pay for shipping, and like a week later they offered free shipping deals. So that ended up being about 50 bucks. And then I paid for some lag bolts to secure the top, 4 of them in total. Secure the top from there through the stretchers. And I definitely came in at under $200 with everything. I'm extremely proud of that because that was my goal, and I even had 50 bucks left to buy some other stuff. So thanks for watching. I hope you found my video useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you around for the next one.